So what do we think they could get? If they decide, here we are 2 weeks away from the draft, countdown clock somewhere, we're 14 days away, what could boom, there it is. What could the Steelers get for T.J. Watt, in your opinion, if they were going to move him?
Well, I mean, certainly you're going to have to give him the new deal, so that takes away a little of the value there. But you're going to get a 1, a 2, and maybe something else down the road, right? I would imagine something like that. At least a 1 and something along with it, another high pick. I think that's probably what it'd be. A 1 and a 3. Maybe he is 30, like you said, and add that to the contract. Okay, it'd be something around that range. I got to think about that a little bit more, but I feel like it would be somewhere in that ballpark. But here's the thing that I'll just push back with you against. All right, first thing, I would be shocked knowing Mike Tomlin. He's a defensive guy, right? That defensive staff there, I've been around them. They love T.J. Watt. I mean, they love him. They swear by him, right?
But look at the stuff they've done. I'm only saying it because they've already done stuff that is out of their character.
I hear you. I'm just going to lay out a few things here that I think also – I think the Steelers are in a different spot than the Browns, right? You brought that up, and I think it's a fair comparison. But I also – with the Deshaun Watson – some of the other guys on the roster in Cleveland, I think Pittsburgh's looking at it and going, wait, we went in the playoffs last year. We did get there. Yes, we don't win when we get there, but we're there, and we're only explosive receiver and quarterback. And I think in their minds, they look at it and go, if we just have that, we can win a playoff game, maybe 2, and who knows where it goes from there. So I do think they're in a little bit of a different part of their being as far as an organization that way. So within all of that, yeah, I would have a hard time. And of course, your other thing was they haven't won a playoff game. But I would argue to that, and you know this, they wouldn't be in the playoffs with their defense doing those games and him picking off Joe Burrow or strip sack fumbles or whatever it might be. I mean, the defense is the reason they get in the playoffs. So that's where another reason I'd have a hard time believing they'd move on.
I'm not saying it's reasonable or rational. I'm trying to understand where they're coming from, and this is a team that is in the process of doing some stuff that they've never done before. So if you're trying to justify it, somebody in one of those meetings is going to say, hey, we haven't won a playoff game with T.J. Watt, so, what the hell. But, yeah, they'd be a lot worse off without him. But remember when free agency first started? The Steelers, it seemed like almost every year, they had a pass rusher who became eligible for free agency, and they'd let him go.
Yeah, right.
And you know what they would do? They would plug another guy in that we'd never heard of.
Right.
They'd plug in a Cody Bellinger that we've never heard of, and then he's the next superstar. And then his contract expires, and you know what they do? They let him go. And then in comes another Cody Bellinger, and it just continued. So that's why I thought it was surprising that they paid T.J. Watt what they paid him, because usually they'd say, we'll find somebody else. And what were you saying the other day when we were talking about teams that are set at edge rusher? Now, it would create a problem for Pittsburgh if all of a sudden he's gone, but they got Nate Herbig. So they could plug and play if they needed to, and they got to factor in the age. He's not going to stay there forever. If he kind of wants out, you put all the factors together. The Steelers are undergoing an organic franchise personality change in 2025. And you got T.J. Watt that is going to want $40 million plus per year, and you're not sure you want to pay it to a guy who's now 30. And you have replacements, and you have a rich history of replacing pass rushers with guys who become the next wave of superstars. And maybe we could get something for this guy that, helps us move up in round 1 to get Shadur Sanders if they want to move up to the teens, or go up even higher than that, get somebody else that's going to help make them better. So I hear what you're saying. You put that picture up, and the mind starts to really not just wander, but race with possible endgame scenarios for this.
I'm with you there. And the fact that I don't know if it's just like they said, hey, we don't even want to talk to you right now about this, or we're not even willing to go to that type of number. I don't know what the boiling point was for T.J. Watt. But obviously he felt a little disrespected. Now, with the Steelers, you're right. They've been able to get pass rushers there and keep them coming throughout, my whole life for the most part. This guy, though, this is a unicorn. I mean, this is Mean Joe Green. You don't let him go.
I know.
You know? So Alex Highsmith is the guy where you go, hey, he's a pretty good player. Damn, they're just going to let him go. They'll replace him with Nate Herbig after this year or somewhere down the line. That I can see. So I think within that, he's such a big staple or pillar of the organization. And as it looks right now, he's on his way to upper room with Dion at the Hall of Fame. That's just not a guy you let go. And he's
the mic drop. No, let's not waste any time at the meeting. He's in.
Exactly. And they're not exactly a robust team of difference makers. And he's definitely the biggest one. And then you bring up the age of 30. And I hear you, right? But I think both of us would agree, times have changed a little bit. We got to start changing that thought a little too. 30 don't mean what it used to mean. It means jack diddly squat, especially to the guys who take care of themselves like TJ Watt or a Myles Garrett or a Chris Jones, right? We were worried about Chris Jones. I don't know why, because he's still awesome and he's still kicking ass, right? So I think that has to change too when we say that. Like, oh, he's 30, I don't know. He's 30, and the way he looks and the way he played last year and the way he trains, he shows no sign of falling off anytime soon. And that's another thing, Pittsburgh, if they were even thinking about trading him, that'll be scary because he'll throw it right back in their face.
That's a good argument for them getting more if they would trade him. I just
Yeah, you're right.
Let me be clear.
Yeah.
They shouldn't trade him.
No, I know you're saying that. I know.
They should have paid him by now. I'm trying to understand where we go from the fact that we've gotten to the point that he's posting a picture of himself throwing up the deuces and all that implies. How do we go from here, and how did we get here? And I think that
because it's out of character for him.
Right. Well, but it's out of character for the Steelers to go out there and think about it. This is true in any organization. I'm the guy that's been here. I'm the guy that's been part of whatever success we've had. And you're going to start throwing ridiculous money to these people who have no ties, no loyalty. You're chasing Aaron Rodgers around. You're coming off as desperate, like Anthony Michael Hall's character in 16 Candles, right? I mean, you're just seeing. This isn't how the Steelers. This isn't the Steelers I know. It's definitely not the Steelers T.J. Watt knows, and he's trying to get fairly paid while these other pass rushers are getting their contracts. At some point, you're going to feel like, what the hell? What's happened to my team? You're DK. I mean, hey, I could see T.J. Watt saying, well, it's not like DK Metcalf is Jerry Rice, and they're paying him $33 million a year, and he's never even played her. And we don't know who the hell the quarterback's going to be, and we're giving Aaron Rodgers this open-ended blank check. Show up whenever you want to show up. I know when they want me to show up. They want me there for the start of the offseason. Why does Aaron Rodgers get to stay away until the start of training camp? So you throw all that together, and you can get to a point where, a lot of times relationships don't fracture because there's some big blow up. It's just kind of a gradual shift. And you wake up one day and you're like, what are we doing here? And I feel like that might be what prompted the Deuces photo.
Well, yeah, or some sort of conversation between his agent and the team and the messages he was getting. He was like annoyed enough to do something like that, where TJ Watt is one of the more quiet superstars in all of football. It's rare. So this like, for lack of a better phrase, and sorry, Liverpool, this pissed him off to put that out there. Yeah, sorry.
I was waiting for something better than that.
Well, yeah, it's bad over there. That's bad over there. But also, too, what I would say is, and we had this conversation a few weeks ago, and hopefully times are changing. And hopefully Pittsburgh's realizing times are changing, too. They got to keep up with the arms race in the AFC North. Baltimore does whatever it's got to do to be good. Doesn't matter. Free agency, pay a guy, draft and develop, whatever. Cincinnati, we're seeing them change right in front of our eyes. I mean, you 3 months ago, you would have gone, no way is Mike Brown going to pay all those guys in Cincinnati. He's not going to pay T. Higgins,
He still hasn't paid all of them.
I know.
Still hasn't paid all of them.
But I don't think we would even thought he would have played Burrow, Chase, and T. Higgins a year ago, and now it's all three. So I think Pittsburgh is evaluating themselves. They're self-scouting themselves a little bit, going, well, we got to change with the times. We got to, got to do some different roster building in the offseason to get our team where it needs to be. Hopefully TJ Watt can appreciate that, but hopefully they don't disrespect him and leave him by the way, the curb on the side of the road here in this whole process of changing here. Because he's a no-brainer, and he, like we talked about, he's a Hall of Famer, and he deserves to be paid at the top of the market, if not the top of the market.
It either was a coincidence or it wasn't that the T.J. Watt Deuces photo lands on the same day when everybody in Pittsburgh is like, oh, is Aaron Rodgers going to be here tonight? Is he showing up at the McAfee event tonight? Oh, maybe Aaron Rodgers. I mean, that could be the thing that just tipped him over the point.
It is odd. Yeah.
Really, think about it. You're the guy that has been the face of the franchise, and they are, if you're TJ Watt, and this is me channeling what TJ Watt might be thinking right now. I could see TJ Watt thinking, you're embarrassing yourselves with this Aaron Rodgers bullshit. You're making the logo on one side of the helmet look bad. This is not what the Steelers do. This is beneath you. That's kind of a manifestation of how the fans have felt about this. Why do we want a Jets reject? Why are we doing this? The guy doesn't want to come here, and we're desperately chasing him around, and we're telling him, just come whenever you want to come. Just show up whenever you want to show up. Doesn't matter if you're not here for the offseason program. And TJ Watt has seen a revolving door of crap at the quarterback position, all due respect to the quarterbacks who have played post-Ben Roethlisberger. But I remember when Roethlisberger left, Chris, I said in this seat at some point, probably more than once, the Steelers better be careful or they're going to get left in the dust in the AFC North. And if the Browns hadn't effed up the Deshaun Watson thing, that would probably be true right now.
Maybe. Something's got to change there. That's for sure. I could also say T.J. Watt, maybe on the other side of this, is just going, pay me. He's got no problem with Aaron Rodgers. He's going, I'm sick of winning games 13-10 and not being able to win a playoff game. He might be okay with that. I think it comes down to him and his situation personally. I understand all the other stuff out there. I think
you can't. There's never a one issue.
Yeah,
it's all together in the same vat. That's what we're trying to do. Broaden it all.
I didn't see the DK Metcalf thing being the one that's like, what? Like, wait, I'm going in the last year. I'm the guy that's been here, does everything for you every day, all the time. Put my body on the line. We just bring him in, new contract, bam, wham, see you later. Right? I can see that being a tipping point of where we're at now to go, what the hell? What's going on? Why haven't we gotten deeper into contract talks here? Why is the number not where I want it to be or where it should be? So I can understand all of that. Either way, it's a no-brainer. We know how good he is, and I don't think the end is coming anytime soon.
Hey, just like I say all the time with Micah Parsons, it's not difficult to do it. You could sit down and put it together quickly. The Raiders did it with Max Crosby. The Browns, once they got Myles Garrett pointed in the right direction, they worked it out pretty quickly. They could get this done, and I think TJ Watt's frustrated it isn't already done. And with the draft 14 days away, what are we going to do? What's going to happen? And I'm putting TJ Watt on trade watch after yesterday.
Wow.
I'm just because I don't know what the hell's going on. And maybe they'll pay him in the next 2 weeks. Or maybe they'll trade him, and now's the time to do it. And really the time to do it, ideally, is when the pick that you're acquiring is on the clock, especially if you would be inclined to get one of the edge rushers. And we were talking, what was it, yesterday, about how great the edge rushers were?
6-7
maybe they're thinking it's time to swap out T.J. Watt for a guy who's 8 years younger. And you do it when that pick you're acquiring is on the clock. Because if you trade T.J. Watt and move up and pick up extra stuff or whatever, it's that blinking red light. We're taking an edge rusher with our first pick. You better jump us. So it's just another thing to watch, I think, if the Steelers do it the right way during the first round of the draft. At any given moment, the commissioner could walk out and say, we have a trade. And the Steelers are now on the clock, and we find out the Steelers have traded T.J. Watt.
I would be shocked. I hear you.
I would be too, but I'm saying I'm on watch. It's not flood warning, it's flood watch.
They don't have a ton of difference makers in their front seven. he's their guy. Mike Tomlin's under pressure here. Like, I just wouldn't expect that type of move. They're going after Aaron Rodgers because they feel like, hey, we're kind of close and ready. We got DK. If we get you, we feel like we can get over the hump. And that'll change with, okay, we don't have TJ Watt anymore. Now we're going to roll the dice on a draft pick, and we know where that could be. We don't know what he'll really be. Cam Hayward is coming to the end of his career. He's still good. But, man, I think in the perfect world, they'd like to keep TJ Watt, have Alex Highsmith, have Herbig, and then they can this year draft maybe a Cam Hayward replacement at 21 if they don't go quarterback and Shedeur Sanders or something of that nature to bolster that part of their team. So we'll see where it goes, Mike. But I hear you. I'm on alert, too, with you with all things TJ Watt as we go forward here.
And think of it this way, too. How attractive are the Steelers to Aaron Rodgers if TJ Watt's not there?
That's another great point. 100%.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
He's going to go, what the hell? I'll wait a little longer to see how J.J. McCarthy does in Minnesota.
Well, and you know what? That would make it genius for TJ Watt to apply pressure to the Steelers now to make him happy, because maybe one of the phone calls that was made yesterday after that photo emerged and Aaron Rodgers became aware of it, Rodgers calling up Tomlin or somebody else saying, wait a minute. I'm thinking about coming there, but I'm assuming you're going to have TJ Watt. Tell me you're going to have TJ Watt, because this is a different analysis for me altogether if TJ Watt's not on the team. So I think the far more likely end result is they get him the contract he deserves.
Yeah. But
because it's TJ Watt, who doesn't traffic in this kind of social media drama, the fact that he did it, I'm monitoring the situation. And it's also my business to monitor situations like that and update people, because Steelers fans are going to be typing in profootballtalk.com on their browser, on their iPad, on their cell phone device, or however they consume the content, and they're going to want to know what's going on. So I'm going to be watching. Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.